I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Adam Schiff just put Pam Bondi on the spot in a way that exposed everything. The hesitation, the dodging, the refusal to answer the most basic questions about the rule of law.
Attorney General who has the independence, the strength, the intestinal fortitude to say no to the president when it is necessary. So my first set of questions has to do whether you have the independence to say no when you must say no. And you can say this is hypothetical, but it is not hypothetical. So let me start with one very specific non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case. And sitting here
today,
Senator, 72% of Americans have lost faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question. You're not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging law enforcement sensitive information. So just tell us, are you aware? Just tell us, are you aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news is horrible.
Are you aware of a?
Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not looked at it.
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question. Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one has asked me to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president has
We're also worried about Liz Cheney, Senator.
The president has called for this.
You know what we should be worried about?
Ms. Bondi, please answer my questions.
The crime rate in California right now is through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
your robberies are 87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I want to be focused on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president? And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it. I won't play politics with any ongoing investigation,
so let me ask you another,
like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question, if you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election, yes or no? Was there or was there not?
I can tell you what I saw when I went as an advocate to the campaign.
That's not my question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case.
so you
Let me
look at-
finish. On a case-by-case
Okay,
basis.
okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the President, Mr. President, I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the President? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the President?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
And
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as well
will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review
investigation.
hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the President?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review
Listen,
hundreds
I'm
of
not going to
cases on the first day?
mislead this body nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask
You were
another question.
censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the
Do
department.
you see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened now? I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe you're asking such a question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I know that you are pleased that we are moving to the end of round one, and we appreciate your being here.
The moment Schiff asked one simple question, the entire room changed. Because suddenly, the person who wants to lead the Department of Justice couldn't answer the simplest truths. Let's break down exactly what happened. When you step back and look at the entire hearing, what makes this moment so powerful isn't just the back and forth. It's the deeper issue underneath it. Because the Department of Justice occupies a unique place in American government. It's supposed to be insulated from politics. Not completely removed from the political system, of course, because the Attorney General is appointed by the President. But the expectation, the tradition, the principle that has guided the Justice Department for decades is that it operates independently when it comes to enforcing the law. The President can set priorities. The President can appoint leadership. But the President should not be able to pick enemies and order investigations. That's the line. And throughout American history, that line has been tested again and again. What Schiff was trying to do in this hearing was determine whether the person sitting in that chair understood that responsibility. Could she resist political pressure? Could she reject demands that weren't supported by evidence? Could she speak uncomfortable truths, even when those truths might anger the president who appointed her? Because that's the real test of leadership inside the Justice Department. Not when everything is easy. Not when the facts are convenient. But when power demands something that the law cannot justify. The questions Schiff asked were not complicated legal puzzles. They were basic tests of principle. If a president publicly demands that a prosecutor be jailed, will the Attorney General require evidence before acting? If a president suggests a political rival should be investigated, will the Attorney General ask whether there is actually a crime? If a president promotes claims that courts and election officials have repeatedly rejected, will the Attorney General speak the truth? Those are the kinds of moments that define the credibility of the justice system. Because the Justice Department doesn't just prosecute cases, it also maintains public trust. People have to believe that the law is being applied fairly. That investigations are based on evidence, not revenge. That prosecutors pursue justice, not political enemies. And when that trust begins to erode, the damage goes far beyond one administration or one controversy. It affects the entire country. That's why this hearing mattered so much. It wasn't just another partisan clash in Congress. It was an attempt to answer a very serious question about the future of the Justice Department. Will it remain a professional law enforcement institution, guided by evidence and law? Or will it become more vulnerable to political pressure from the White House? And the reason this moment resonated with so many viewers is because the answers weren't clear. Instead of firm commitments, there were evasions. Instead of straightforward acknowledgments of facts, there were pivots and deflections. For critics, that raises alarms. Because history, not just in the United States, but around the world, shows that the independence of law enforcement institutions is one of the pillars that holds democratic systems together. Once that independence weakens, it becomes easier for power to influence justice. And once justice becomes political, it stops being justice at all. That's the deeper context behind Schiff's questions. He wasn't just arguing with Bondi. He was drawing a line between two visions of the Justice Department. One where it stands apart from political demands, and another where political power begins to shape who gets investigated, who gets prosecuted, and who gets protected. Those are two very different futures for the rule of law. And hearings like this are one of the few places where those issues are forced into the open. Whether you agree with Schiff or disagree with him, the exchange revealed something important. It showed how much the public's confidence in institutions like the Justice Department now depends on transparency, accountability, and clear answers. Because in a democracy, the rule of law only works if people believe it's real. If they believe that the same rules apply to everyone. If they believe that evidence matters more than politics. And moments like this, tense, uncomfortable, confrontational moments, are part of how that accountability is tested. So the real takeaway from this hearing isn't just who won the argument. It's the reminder that the independence of the Justice Department is never guaranteed. It has to be defended, questioned, examined, and sometimes challenged in hearings exactly like this one. If you made it this far, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Adam Schiff exposed serious concerns in this exchange? Or do you think this was just another political showdown on Capitol Hill? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more breakdowns of the biggest political confrontations happening in Congress right now, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.